Literally a couple of hours ago, a student of mine came to see me for a driving lesson because he was really suffering with the slice in his golf game. His irons were really good, but when it got to the big stick, we were noticing this slice time and time again. And we noticed at the very start of the lesson, just taking a look at some of the golf shots outlined here. But I looked at two things that we looked into changing, and this made a massive difference to his driver slice. So if you're someone at the moment that's suffering with that slice, I'd highly recommend staying tuned to the very end of the video. Just to begin with, taking a look at Owen's swing here on the right-hand side of the screen, what you'll notice is two things. Two things that we outlined, the two reasons why he was suffering with this massive driver slice in his golf game. And the first one was when he was getting to the very top of his swing, he was getting this overswing to take place, almost to the point where the shaft and the driver head are pretty much pointing towards the ground. This is too much of an overswing. And when we get too much of an overswing, it can encourage the wrist angles to get very cupped at the top, which opens up the club face. And when the open club face appears in relation to your swing, the golf shots will slice. So that's the first thing we had to look at changing. How can we shorten this golf swing to stop this cupped wrist angle, but also keep this width here? Once we got too far, the hands got very close to the body, and then we were having to push the club out. And as we were pushing the club out, which leaves us on to reason number two, was he was starting this downswing by shifting this lead hip forward towards the golf ball. And what he was having to do was try and move away, tilt away from the golf ball to square up the face. And even just from looking at that angle there, the club face is still pointing to the right of my target. Therefore, the slice would happen. And this is what we noticed with Owen. And the reason why he had to lean back was because he was struggling to create room. The distance between his lower and upper body reduced as he brought the club, pushed the club away to create the width in the downswing, but then bringing this hip towards the target caused us to get a little bit trapped. So then we would have to move away like so. So how can we actually fix this? How can we change those two things? And it was all down to one insane drill that we've never ever covered on this channel before. And I was very, very shocked with how well this works. But just before I jump into that, I really want to show you, I think it's important I show you what we did just to begin with as we worked our way up to this incredible drill. Because if you follow the steps by steps, then you're gonna get a much better outcome and see these results every single time you do this. Just to begin with Owen, after hitting a couple of shots, we noticed those two outcomes, and the first thing I said to him, we were working with the iron swing where we got to the very top of the swing and we were trying to delay the body turn. So what happens, obviously, when we get this shift forward, we get a little bit trapped and leave the face open. So what I said to Owen first was to just let his arms drop first, allow his arms to drop towards the ground, and then turn through to finish. And what we noticed after doing a couple of swings doing this motion in stages, bringing up to the top, bringing it down, swinging through, we noticed some great outcomes, some golf shots going fairly straight, but the problem was we couldn't do this at speed. We were doing this in stages, which meant that although he was hitting them fairly straight and low like that one down the fairway, it was very difficult for him to do at speed. As soon as we got speed involved and making this full swing doing this all in one motion, those hips would immediately fire to begin that downswing and then left the club face open again. And that's when we started to see those slices creep back in the game. So doing this motion, I told him just to get to the top of the swing, being at this point here, just to reduce the length of the swing as he was going too far back. So we got to this point here, dropped the arms, swung through, and every single time we did it in stages, it was really, really nice, just like that outcome there. But how can we, and how did we is the question, bring this into full swings and see these outcomes here? Well, I first had to show Owen a visual perspective of what his lower body, his hips were doing as soon as they started the downswing. So what I got him doing was I actually got him taking an alignment stick and placed it through his belt holes either side. And what this allowed him to do was to get to the very top of his swing and basically create that sensation of, okay, well, I want my arms to come out in front of this stick here. Otherwise, if I fire the hips too early, the stick's going to touch me. Just want to give a quick shout out to GX Golf. They provide high quality golf gloves for a fraction of the price in comparison to the rest on the market at the moment. I've been using these gloves now for the last couple of months, really impressed with the quality, and I would highly recommend giving these a try. Using my discount code below as well, Harry10, you can get yourself a great 10% discount on their great bundle packages of 3, 6 or 9 gloves. So make sure you go ahead and check them out. Link will be in the description below. So I've got the alignment stick on here, getting up to the top. If we allow this lower body to be delayed in the downswing, do it all in one motion swings, and then swing through, this should achieve better outcomes. And just to begin with, what we noticed with Owen was that he was able to stall the lower body a little bit in comparison to his actual full swing beforehand, but it was nowhere near enough to stop this slice taking place in his game. Straight into the trees, lost ball, still no good. So this one incredible move that we did, this incredible drill, we changed and tweaked the drill ever so slightly. As soon as we changed this feel, he saw that outcome, and all we did was we said, right, well, once you get to the very top of your swing, we wanted to really encourage, as the club came back down to the ball, we were actually trying to get this part of the stick here to touch the hands. So what was so crazy about this is to start that downswing, obviously we were pushing the club down still, but we were actually encouraging the hips to move in the opposite direction, feeling like that lead hip, once we get to the very top of the swing, was going to go even further. We were trying to actually get more turn, as if we're going up into the top of the swing and bringing the club down. So we're trying to get our lead hand and arm to touch the front part of the stick here. And what was so crazy about this is that when you look at this swing here in slow motion, it doesn't even look like he's forcing his hips to go that way. When we started the downswing, we actually did it to a point we were able to delay that body turn just enough to get that club working back on this shallower, lovely plane, closing the club face down and then squaring up the face beautifully at impact. Shot after shot, we hit this outcome here. And this is going to feel really crazy when you give this a try because it's completely alien. You're so used to being told, right, we need to fire the hips towards the target more. Well, actually, it's going to cause the club face to open. So why don't we try and fire the hips the opposite way? The feeling is once you get to the top of your swing, this is what it felt like to Owen, like he was almost just getting that alignment stick to push even further this way, with his hips getting his lead hip to almost turn further into the swing as we were bringing the hands down, and just doing this here over and over again just gave him a really good feel for where that club should be traveling in the downswing, but also gave him the thought of how he should create more room in the downswing. And at first we gave this a try doing very slow swings, and we noticed quite a lot of them go low and left, which was excellent because all we had to do from there is increase the speed. I told Owen at the end to go full speed with driver and see what happens. And we got those outcomes, we got those little fades. And just taking a look at that video again, you can see there clearly that the feel versus real concept plays huge with this. To Owen, it felt like he was bumping his hip further this way when actually he was just delaying the hip turn and rotating through to square up that club face. So just to finish off, let's see if we can get that outcome, that baby little fade, just from feeling that motion. So up to the top, feel like that hip's working even more into the backswing to touch this lead arm with the stick, and let's see if we can get just as good as outcome as Owen did with his. Slightly out the toe, but I tell you what, nice little draw indeed, delaying that body turn, feeling that motion there, and it's almost like a recoil. As soon as you get that point, it actually makes you want to fire even more, Owen said as well. And look at that, a total of 320 yards. I'll take that every single day. Just with a club head speed of 113 as well. I took it easy on that one. Usually I'm 121, so that just shows how good of a drill this could be for your game. If you've come this far, make sure you hit the subscribe button as there's lots more content coming to you every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the very next video.